So Adidas versus Nike, who is a better brand? And in today's video, we are going to be answering that direct question. But before we get into today's video, please leave a like, a comment, and also subscribe. And if you do like these type of videos, I've got a whole catalog of these videos on my channel, so be sure to check them out. And without further ado, let's get into this. So how I'm going to be judging this is I'm going to be going through different rounds. So like one round might be shoes, one round might be like don't know, like collaborations, and then just go from there until we have a winner. Obviously whoever wins the most round is the definitive winner. So without further ado, let's get into this. So round number one we have is clothing. So when it comes to clothing, Nike is definitely up there. You see a lot of people wearing their clothes like tracksuits, other various different clothing. However, in terms of like diversity, they're very stuck in the sport slash like streetwear like community. Like when it comes to clothing, they're not really that diverse. Like to be fair, when it comes to clothing, Nike sort of falls a bit flat. Like I believe their clothes are a bit boring and not really that diverse. Like to be fair, like their clothing's a bit more like predictable. Like it's just a normal bit of clothing with like a Nike logo on it or something. Like not really that like groundbreaking. And yeah, just all around not that much innovation. Okay, cool. So that was Nike clothing. Moving on to Adidas. So I'd say when it comes to clothing, Adidas is more up there in terms of like diversity, innovation. Like when it comes to clothing, like Adidas just has so many different flavors and like so many like varieties that you can pick from. And I believe this is down to like how organized the brand is. So what I mean by this is every category of like clothes Adidas has, they'll like pull it into like a different sort of sub brand. And this is more evident in the logos. So obviously if you see this logo, this sort of means it's like streetwear sort of fashion. If you see this logo, it's more of like sports slash like, you know, athletics. And if you see this logo, this is more like high-end sort of designer territory. And if you see this logo, you're definitely born on a council estate. Like, I'm sorry, yeah, but the only time I've ever seen this logo is in a Sports Direct shop. But yeah, like it feels like the designers in the Adidas team have like more freedom to like express themselves. And like the thing is, Adidas covers so many styles from like vintage to like street to even like professional. Like I know they've done like suits and shit before. And yeah, like Adidas just has a very good hold on like the clothing like scene. And for that reason, I am going to give this point to Adidas. So that was round number one. Round number two is going to be the shoes. And this round is going to be a little bit different. Instead of just going through Nike and Adidas. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting two iconic shoes from both brands. And I'm going to be putting them together and see who wins. And whoever has the most points obviously wins that round. So to start things off with, we have the Air Forces versus the Superstars. Probably both brands' best selling shoes. And to be fair, like these shoes have like a fair amount of like similarities. Obviously they've both got like a leather sort of base, obviously very iconic, and yeah, both like street shoes. So with like the Superstars, it like dips in and out of fashion so regularly. Like I'd probably say every 5 to 7 years, like it just comes in and out of fashion. And if I'm honest, like this has probably set up the groundwork for like numerous of shoes that Adidas has produced in the future. And yeah, like just an all-round nice design shoe, very like inspiring like I said. And yeah, this is no reason why this is Adidas's best selling shoe. Okay, cool. So moving on to the Air Forces. So where the differences lies between the Superstars and the Air Forces, I believe Air Forces just never go out of fashion. Like ever since I was like 7, like people was wearing Air Forces, and today people are still wearing Air Forces. Like they are so easy to wear with, like, you know, you just have a clean tracksuit and then some Air Forces, like you cannot go wrong. And like this is such a staple in Nike's like catalog. And like the thing is about the shoe, like it's so simple. Like all it is just a leather shoe with like a Nike tick on it, and yeah, like just people fuck with them. And to be fair, like this shoe has been like copied slash like reimagined. The most popular example is when Bape did it. Basically all they did is just slapped on a star instead of the Nike logo, and yeah, they made a shit ton of money doing that. I'm surprised Nike didn't, you know, sue them for copyright, but yeah. So for the Air Forces being just so iconic, just a timeless shoe and just so like nice to look at, I am going to give this round to the Air Forces. Okay, cool. So the next versus we have Jordan versus Yeezy. And probably this is the most hyped shoe from both brands. Okay, cool. So when Yeezy first come out, the hype was absolutely real. Like, I remember everyone was just trying to get a pair of Yeezys, whether that be the 750s or the 350s. Like, everyone was just trying to get some Yeezys. And yeah, it was just crazy because every Yeezy that released, like, just did absolutely crazy. Like, the resale did crazy, the popularity just went crazy. And also, at one point, Yeezy was selling more than Jordans. Like, at Yeezy's, like, popularity, no one was really buying Jordans like that. Like Jordan sort of took a dip, and, like, obviously the Yeezys just went up on like a mad spree. However, fast forward to today, the hype has sort of died down a little bit, and they're not really reselling for nowhere near as much as they used to. And also, like, the colors are just becoming very repetitive. Yeezy still released today, but yeah, the hype isn't how it used to be. Okay, cool. So moving on to Jordan. Okay, cool. So with Michael Jordan being probably one of the best basketball players of all time, Nike fully struck gold when they signed a deal with him. Like, the Jordan shoe become so popular, like, it resold literally every time, and like, it sort of become like a collector's item as well. And like, it was such a weird one because it sort of went the same route as the Air Forces. Like, Jordans just are just a staple of Nike's like catalog. Like, it will never really go out of popularity. Like, obviously it might dip like from time to time, but it will never die, if that makes sense. And like, Jordan has got to a point where like it's his own brand now. Like, obviously you got Nike, and then under Nike is Jordan. Like, you can't really say the same for like other like brands, if you know what I mean. And also, like, Jordans have become so big, like, other celebrities are jumping on and like giving their designs on the actual Jordans. So with this battle against Yeezy and Jordan, just for the simple fact that Jordan has been around more and has accomplished more, I am going to give this point to Jordan. Okay, cool. So this round is going to be slightly a little bit different. It's not going to be directly shoes. It's going to be like an umbrella of shoes, if that makes sense. So this round is going to be the Air Maxes versus the Boost. So like, the Air Max is sort of like the bubble you get on the Nike shoes, and then the Boost is sort of like the spongy foamy bit you see on the Adidas shoes sometimes. The thing about the Boost technology, it's only really been out for like 7 or like 6 years, so it's still relatively new. So the most popular shoes that the Boost technology has been in is the Ultra Boosts, the NMDs, the Pharrell shoes, and also Yeezys. And in my opinion, the Boost makes the shoe very like springy, very like breathable, and yeah, just very light, and yeah, just all round good technology. However, with that being said, I am going to have to give this point to the Air Max. So the Air Max has been around for literally centuries, like, and it just has so many like variations to the Air Max, like, it's just crazy. I'd probably say my favourite Air Maxes are probably the 95s, the 97s, and also the 96s. And I'd say every couple of years, Nike will like release a completely different Air Max, which is just a breath of fresh air in my opinion. And yeah, just all round good shoe in my opinion. And yeah, like I said, Air Max does win this round. Okay, so that's going to be it for the shoe round, and it was really no like challenge to who was going to win that round. Like, I'm sorry, yeah, but like Nike, when it comes to shoes, like Nike is just at the top. Like, there is no competition when it comes to shoes. Like, Nike just has too many big shoes just to compete with anyone else. Okay, cool. So that was the shoe category. Moving on to round number 3, we have the collaborations. So with this round, I'm going to be going over 2 similar collaborations from each brand and putting them together. And whoever has the most points at the end, obviously is the winner. Okay, cool. So for starters, we have Prada versus Dior. And Adidas did a collaboration with Prada, and Nike also did a collaboration with Dior. And I can't even lie to you, this is just a prime example of a collaboration done wrong and a collaboration done right. So without further ado, let's look at the Prada collaboration. I can't even lie to you, I've already made a video on this collaboration, giving my opinion on it and how utter shit it is, but you know, we'll keep it moving. But yeah, what I have to say about this collaboration, it's just so basic, so boring, no like innovation. Like yeah, like there's no real like creativity involved. Like, it's just a normal Adidas like bit of clothing with like a Prada logo slapped to it. Like, you know, there's nothing really to it. And probably my most least favourite item from this collaboration is the superstars. Like, obviously they could have done a lot more with this superstar, but they basically just had a superstar, put some like different material on it, slapped the Prada logo on it, and called it a day. And yeah, if the shoes wasn't bad enough, like the clothing was just as bad. Like I said, basic, and yeah, just no like taste to it, to be fair. But yeah, that's going to be it for this collaboration. If you do want to hear more about this collaboration, I've got a video on my channel, so be sure to check that out. But yeah, now moving on to the Dior collaboration with Nike, and all I'm saying is this is a collaboration done right. As soon as this was like announced that this was happening, like people just went hyped over it, like people went crazy. Like, let's just minus the clothing like for a second, like the shoes that they released, like fully iconic, like probably the shoe of like maybe the century, but most certainly the year. Like, I'm sorry, but the level of creativity when it comes to this shoe is just crazy. Like, for example, you got the Dior going through the Nike tick, that is just heavy as fuck. And then like you got the Dior on like the sole of the shoe, heavy as fuck. And like, you know, it's just, yeah, it's just a crazy shoe. Like, even the colorway, slap the colorway. Like comparing this to like the superstars, like, you see where my frustration comes from. Like, Adidas, what the fuck are you doing? And just to touch on the clothing just a bit briefly, the clothing was nice. Nothing that I would wear personally, maybe that jacket actually, but yeah, like the shoes just slapped it, the clothing slapped it as well, and yeah, just all round good collaboration. So yeah, with that being said, Dior does win it for Nike for this round. Okay, cool. So moving on to two completely different brands, we have Bape versus Supreme. Obviously, Bape being Adidas's collaboration and Supreme being Nike's collaboration. So when it comes to Supreme, Nike has been collaborating with them for a good solid like 15 years. But when it comes to Nike and Supreme, like they're very hit or miss. Like one season, like they'll release like some crazy items, and the next season they'll just release some mediocre items. But with that being said, when the items are good, the items are fucking good. Like, just a couple of examples that I can think off the top of my head. The dunks that they did a couple seasons ago. The baseball shirt that they did. I really like that collaboration. And also the CDG Air Forces. I thought that they was just crazy. Okay, moving on to the Bape collaboration. Bape and Adidas have also been collaborating for a good amount of time as well. I believe 2006 was their first collaboration. But I'd probably say my most favourite collaboration is the one they did in 2015 and the one they did in 2018 with the tracksuits. However, like Nike and Supreme, Adidas and Bape are very hit and miss as well. So to wrap things up, I am going to give this point to Nike with the Supreme collaboration. I just feel like they've done more collaborations, they've done more like decent pieces as well. So yeah, Nike does win that. Okay, so our last brands from this collaboration segment is going to be Palace and Off-White. Obviously Palace being Adidas and Off-White being Nike. So the Adidas and Palace collaborations have been successful for the most part. However, they always try something a little bit too different. I know like a couple of seasons ago they did like a tennis collaboration, and I think a couple of seasons ago as well they did like a golf collaboration. Adidas and Palace are like streetwear brands. I don't want to see golf, I really don't. But with that being said, they have released some banger of items. My most favourite item of all time that they've released is probably the dressing gown that they released. And all I'm saying, yeah, is that is straight up fucking fire. But yeah, moving on to the Off-White collaboration with Nike. And I can't even lie to you, the first collaboration that Nike and Off-White did was stuff of legend. I'm not even capping. Literally, I remember this, like Adidas was killing it with like the boost like technology. Obviously Jordans wasn't really doing too well. Like Nike was just in the dirt basically. But then like out of nowhere, like Nike just turns around and be like, yo, we're doing a collaboration with Off-White. These are 10 of our most popular shoes, and Virgil Abloh has designed all of these with his Off-White touch. Like, boom, here you go. And I can't even lie, like that moment right there just literally killed like Adidas's momentum. And ever since then, like Nike and Off-White have done like collaborations on like dunks or like just other like iconic shoes, and also they have performed like extremely well. So yeah, with that being said, Off-White does win that round for Nike, and also Nike does win that whole round. So yeah, in terms of collaboration, Nike is the definitive winner, obviously beating Adidas. Okay, cool. So our final round is going to be the celebrity collaborations, and to start off our celebrity collaborations we have Messi versus Ronaldo. So with football's biggest stars, obviously they are going to reside on opposite sides, Messi being Adidas and Ronaldo being Nike. So starting with Ronaldo, so I'm not sure if any of you know a lot about football, but when it comes to Ronaldo, like Ronaldo has got some iconic football boots. So basically the boots are called CR7, but they're not just for the boots, like they've actually made a brand under Nike called CR7. And I don't know about you, but like growing up, I really wanted a pair of CR7s. Obviously they were Ronaldo's boots, so I just thought, you know, like I want them. And the thing is about these boots, like the popularity of them only just got bigger as Ronaldo's career got bigger as well. And from today, like some of these CR7 boots are probably football's most iconic boots. Okay, so that was Ronaldo. Let's move on to Messi. So Messi's deal with Adidas has seen a lot of success as well, and he has created some iconic boots with the brand as well. But with that being said, it's probably not on the same level as like Ronaldo. Like I don't believe Messi has sort of built a brand like CR7. To be fair, like he probably has, but probably not on that level. Like in my opinion, like Messi has done well for Adidas, but like I don't really strictly associate him with Adidas like I do with Ronaldo with Nike. And like to be fair, like Ronaldo has sort of gone down that path of like Michael Jordan, making a sub brand underneath Nike. So yeah, with that being said, Ronaldo does win, and that brings us on to the next celebrity collaboration. So our next celebrity collaboration is going to be Michael Jordan versus Kanye West. Okay, cool. So I'm going to keep this brief because I've already done like a versus between Yeezys and Jordan anyway. So yeah, these two people have done iconic stuff for both brands. I'd probably say Kanye West basically reinventing what like a sneaker shoe should like look like, but I'd say Michael Jordan just being more successful and just being around much more longer. And I'd probably say Michael Jordan being like more popular in like the mainstream like streetwear audience. Like I believe like people view like Yeezy and Kanye as a bit like cheesy sort of like fashion. And I'd probably say with Jordan, like yeah, it's just a bigger range and just more diversity in terms of like shoes. So with that being said, Jordan does win this round again. So our last versus, we are gonna have Pharrell Williams versus Travis Scott. And I can't lie, like these two are very similar in terms of like what they do. Obviously they are both like a part of like the music industry, but I'd probably say the main difference is the generational gap. Like obviously Pharrell was last generation and Travis Scott was obviously this generation. But yeah, moving on to the collaborations that they've done with both brands, I'd say Travis Scott has seen a lot of success obviously with his collaborations with Nike. Like I believe he's done Air Forces, I believe he's done Jordans, a couple of other shoes I believe. And like the popularity of his collaborations with Nike only got bigger as his career got bigger as well. I'd probably say my most favourite collaboration that he's done with Nike are them, I'm not sure exactly what they're called, but they're like a baby blue Jordan 4 I believe. Okay, cool. So moving on to Pharrell Williams, and what I like what Pharrell did, he didn't really put his name on like a certain shoe. He actually like created his own shoe, which was like a very big play in my opinion. And I can't lie, like the shoe was actually like gas. I can't even lie. I believe he's created like a couple of shoes, but the human races are the ones I'm really talking about. I can't lie, like the shoe was just clean, very wearable, and just looked very comfortable as well. And it also had the boost technology in with it as well. And also Pharrell has managed to do collaborations with like other brands within the Adidas, brands such as Chanel and also Billionaires Boys Club. And yeah, like with this shoe, I just like this shoe like overall, like it's just so clean and just looks very wearable. And yeah, with that being said, I am going to give this point to Pharrell. So the point stands 2-1 to Nike for this round. And just to summarize everything up, so in the first round, Adidas wins when it comes to clothing. In the second round, Nike wins in terms of the shoes. Also Nike wins in the collaborations, and also Nike wins in the celebrity collaborations. So with the points being 3-1 to Nike. So obviously Nike is a definitive winner, and I hope I answered all of your questions about who is the better brand. Obviously it is Nike. And yeah, without further ado, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you did enjoy, and yeah, in a bit.